Okay, this is a poem called the Natural Arc. It has to do with life, because life is the natural arc, I guess, and there's always some mathematics involved and some animals. It's like math and ants, and it's about an equation of the dread on the x-axis. We're getting a lot of dread these days versus necessity on the y. That's the equation of dread on the x-axis and necessity on the y. It's like an ant trail. It never goes straight. An ant trail, it bellies inward when it encounters something like that. It goes sort of like that. It bellies inward, especially at all the great mysteries like corners or posts. And it's like the drape of a spider web. And if you notice, there's always one straggler ant distracted with a special job, divination, or memory maybe. Did we miss anything over here? Or here? And that ant trail, if you look at it, you notice it goes both directions. It always goes both directions, saying, they're talking to each other, they're saying, this time we're up to strawberries. Or veer a little bit to the left, wobble to the right. They're always passing, they're touching, the feelers, they're lingering, and they are saying to one another, let me feel what you remember, and I'm going the way you came. And this is called Flying Over the Sierra. Flying over this, in an airplane, flying over the Sierra. I wasn't on it. Well, I may have been on something. Flying over the Sierra Nevada, I turn to the airplane's window. I always get a window seat. Away from all that crowded, padded nonsense, that hum, and look down at those mountaintops below. And it seems to pull my breath into space. So vast, and at the same time close. And close as what? It's close as the confessional door in the Catholic Church where I was brought up. As close as windows, like looking into this confessional door. And there's that old deaf priest just past there. And his breathing is the only sound in the holy dark. And I feel it drawing tectonic syllables from my throat. Bless me. Bless me, Father. Bless me that I hadn't said to anybody in 50 years. And I'm remembering it now in the flight over the Sierras. Bless me, Father. Bless me, Father, in this burden of my chest as I fill and empty myself over those mountains where I see myself now a rock on the closest peak down there, lifted up there by the movement of geologic plates, dried oceans, and I'm breaking from myself by this grace of thin air that I'm breathing, this thrill of personal weight grinding the stone of my thoughts into water and slurry, love of the body pulled, changing every syllable, my deeds fractured, bouncing down from the mountains into the canyons, into the creeks, receiving the sand of myself, knowing like the mountain I shall be lifted and folded and cracked and layered, buried and crushed and redeemed into this air, into earth. It's a good thing to have been a Catholic once, maybe twice. Okay, and this is how it should end. An old man is found dead. His anonymous apartment downtown someplace, old man is found dead, and the investigating officer sees 4 small unmarked vials of white powder that were hidden in his sock drawer.
They're coming for you, Terry.
The investigating officers go into this old man's apartment because the neighbors called. They find 4 unmarked vials of mysterious white powder hidden in his sock drawer. These are portions of the ashes of his last friends, given to him by their families. Over the last 10 years, they've been given to him, and they are unspread because the old man is now 97. He's the last one of those friends, and he is too frail. He has been too frail for 10 years to visit their wilderness campsite and dispose of those ashes. He's been too frail for a decade. So the police, they sniff these ashes. They taste them. They taste each one because they have to think about these things. So they finally classify them as a degraded narcotic or possibly a hoarded medication. At the police station that evening, off duty, the officers feel an unusual impulse to hug goodbye. And they forget those vials of white powder. They forget them on the back seat of the cruiser out on the curb, from which they are stolen that night and sold on the streets of Oakland for $200 per gram. The crime rate in that neighborhood exhibits an unusual downturn lasting years.